What is up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video where once again I work on my Zontes 350E because we are upgrading him yet again. Now, as some of you who follow my channel know, I have mounted a Carpuride navigation system on my handlebars. It's the 7-inch variant, which is just an Android Auto navigation system. But the folks over at Carpuride told me that if I wanted, they could send over the W603, which also comes with front and rear dash cams. So we're going to be taking a look at the Carpuride W603 with dash cams, and we're going to mount it instead of the 7-inch variant on the handlebars. Now, one nice part that I've seen already is the cameras that come in this kit look very identical, if that is even a word. They pretty much, they're the same cameras that come stock on the Zontes 350E straight from the factory. Now, the factory option is a 300 euros, that's about $350 option for cameras, factory mounted dash cams. This thing, you can get it usually on sale for about $220, $230, and it comes with the Android Auto or Apple CarPlay navigation system, a display, and the 2 dash cams. So this might actually be a better value if you buy one of these new, get it without the cameras, save the money, and buy yourself one of these. But before I get too much ahead of myself, let's mount it and test it and see if it's actually better than the factory options. I've seen how the factory option looks. They look decent. If this thing is, it has a decent image, then it should be a better option than the factory one. But let's get into the box and see what we have. All right, opening up the box. First thing that we should see is the unit itself. This thing goes here. And yes, we have to pull it out carefully because we have the cables. Unlike my previous 7-inch unit, this one has quite a lot more cables because it comes with power, with the 2 channels for the 2 cameras, and with a remote. So this is the unit itself. It's pretty sturdily built. These are the 4 wires coming out of it. A lot of screws used. It should be watertight. My previous 7-inch unit, I took it to the car wash. I left it out in the rain. No problem with it whatsoever. I was very happy with the quality of the product. And remember, if you want to get one of these for yourself, check out the link in the description down below because it's an affiliate link and it helps out the channel when you make a purchase. Plus, I have a 30% discount code for you guys. Use the code RIDEWITHALEX at checkout and you get a 30% discount. Let's move on. We got our instruction manual, like I like to see them, wiring diagram. It's always a colored manual with Carpuride products, and this is quality. Next we have the remote. This will go on the handlebar, on the grip, and it should give us a couple of buttons to control the unit. Makes it easier to control while riding. Put it here. Next we have the rear camera. You have a lot of mounting options, either 3M tape or screws. Then you have the front camera, exactly the same as the rear. Next we have a clamp with a ram mount style ball. We have our power cable that we have to connect to a switched power. And a lot of mounting stuff, including a screwdriver to open up the unit itself, and more mounting options for ram mount style balls. But I already do have a mounting option for this unit because I'm gonna be reusing the same mounting option that I have my 7-inch mounted to my handlebars. So I'm not gonna be using this. It should make for a little bit quicker of a mount system. So this is the unit. Now I have to get to mounting it because it's a bit of a process to mount this system on this scooter. Now the front part is easy. The camera goes into an easy to access spot. It's easy to route the cables. But the back camera does have a specific mount for the factory cameras, and I hope to use that one. But to get to it, I kind of have to undress the scooter completely. So it's a bit of a process, and I know a lot of you, when I mounted my 7-inch one, wanted a bit of a detailed video. Now, I don't want to make like an hour-long video about how to mount this unit specifically on this model of scooter, but I am gonna give you a couple of tips on how to mount it, and I'm gonna go into a little bit more detail on how exactly do I get about mounting this thing to the scooters. So I'm gonna take you through all the steps in the process, and let's get started. Now, first of all, windshield and front fairing have to come off. So now, many of you have asked me, how did I get power from the battery to the Carpuride, but it also turns on and off with the ignition. So I actually got power from one of these fuses. I use one of these piggyback fuse things, and it's set to the, which one is it? So the third one, it's called aided here. So it's the it's the middle fuse box, position number 3. And I read the manual, and that is for auxiliary lights or auxiliary something. And I don't have auxiliary lights, so there's sufficient power on this lead. But I didn't want to take to really get into the circuit itself, so I got one of these piggyback leads that it basically takes power from a fuse. You can get these things on AliExpress and places like that. They are ridiculously cheap. So this is it. So the plus wire went to this piggyback fuse thing, and the minus wire went to this connector, to this minus terminal on the battery. And now looking at it, it's a little bit wobbly. So I should address that next time I put it back together. Now, what I am trying to do is I connected the new wire with some tape to the old wire, and I'm gonna try to just pull it all together through. Now, you're not gonna have the luxury of being able to do this if this is a fresh mount for you, but for me, there we go. Make my life a lot easier. Now we have the brand new connector up here that's gonna go into the new unit. And also, let's take off the old unit. So we do have this anti-theft system, and I know I tightened it pretty good. There we go. Take off the old unit, put on the new one. The new unit is, although it's only 1 inch smaller in terms of screen size, it is considerably smaller than the previous one. The previous one just filled everything here. I'm gonna adjust it maybe a little bit more later if I feel the need, but for now it looks pretty damn good. Let's try and find a good spot for the remote control. If I'm already on the handlebars, so yeah, the remote is gonna go. The wire coming out the side is not necessarily a good thing. It should have been out the bottom, but we'll make it work. I'm gonna squish it in here. There we go, and the remote is now in its place, and we just have to run the wire. So this is the wire for the remote. I think we're gonna put it through here next to the, oh really? So I'm gonna open up the plastic fairing for the handlebar, because I want to route the remote next to the wire for the heated grips. And you can open up this plastic fairing. You don't even have to undo it completely, I think. Can we fit it in through here? Feel it. I feel it. Come on. There it goes. Perfect. Perfect. Good and tight. So, now we have the controller cable. It needs to connect to the controller. There we go, tighten it up. I love these watertight connectors. They are very robust and reliable. And now we have the power cable. I need to check and see if the unit actually powers on. So, does it? Yes, it does. It does power on. Let's see if the controls work, the buttons. All right, and the buttons, which one? This one. Let's press a button. Nothing. Please insert the camera. So this button doesn't do nothing now, but I don't have the cameras connected, neither a phone. So yeah, the unit works. Let's move on. All right, so now mounting the front camera. Now, like I've said, the Zontes does have a couple of cameras that come standard with it, and it has 2 screw holes here that this thing might just fit. This is the camera, and it might just fit in here. So if I put it here, how will I adjust it? I have no idea how am I gonna adjust it after I mount it, but we can get at this without taking off any fairings. All right, so these screws are a little bit thick to go through this. So we're gonna have to enlarge the holes a little bit, and hopefully I get this thing right. First try. Wrong. Now I've decided to not be an idiot anymore and actually use a vise. So let's do this. Speed. Perfection has been achieved, ladies and gentlemen. Almost. Good enough. And that's it. The front camera mounted in the stock position. So I'm just gonna route the cable up and into the handlebars. All right, so front camera is in, controller is in, the unit is in. Now it's time to tackle the rear camera. This is the one I've been dreading because I have to take all of this off. So yeah, let's get started. All right, so now, oh, this is the place. What do I need to take off next? I need to take off this side panel and this side panel. So, yeah, let's get at it. Okay, one on the back. You know, this thing is coming apart actually quite easy. Granted, there are explanation videos on the internet. I mean, you can find a full strip down of this thing with all the bolts and everything. I did my due diligence beforehand. Okay, this is off. I think I can take the tail section now off. And I do not need it to come completely off. I just need it moved back a little so I have room to work. Jeez. I really hope I remember how to put this thing back together, but it's not a problem. We do have videos on the internet. Alright, so now I can get at the camera spot and see how I can mount my camera. Alright, so we're gonna have to cut this off now. Oh, it's actually very easy. Let's put my finger in here so I can cut myself. There we go. Okay, cleaned up the hole. Alright, so fun fact. The camera does actually go into the hole properly. And yeah, it's the same factory camera. Problem is I do not have the mount, the back plate on the back here. So I can push it in place and stick it here. And the one included with the Carpuride doesn't work. It's not the same size, it's not the same shape. So what I am gonna do is actually put a lot of double-sided tape on this thing and just shove it in there. And it's probably gonna stay there forever. Okay, so a lot of double-sided tape. I'll see if this thing works. Now this is kind of the thick variety, so Right, and then I have to get it all lined up. Now it's too thick. Damn it, this ain't gonna work like this. All right, so new plan. I've actually whipped up some plastic adhesive, and we're gonna coat this side and stick it in. Hopefully I stick it in straight and level, because this ain't coming out. And now I have to wait here 10 minutes. Bloody hell. All right, so camera is in. I'll just let the glue dry for a couple of minutes. It's in there. As you can see, I've put glue on the sides. Focus. So camera's in there. Then what I'm gonna have to do is take off this plastic part and this plastic part, so I can route the cable up underneath the plastics and into the unit. And as you can see, we're seeing the back camera. Push the button. Oh, it's gonna be nice. All right, so I've put the headlight just with 2 pins here on the bottom. This is the wire coming from the camera, and I've routed it through here. This is a frame strengthening part, and I have the wire now, and I have to take off this part and this part so I can route it upwards. It's gonna be a fun one, but yeah, I like it how it goes through that strengthening part, and I'm really glad to see on a screw like this, like these kinds of parts to strengthen the frame. This is nice. This is quality here. This is always the hard part with working on your own scoot or motorcycle or whatever. It's okay. This panel should just pop right off, and it's not popping right off, and I don't know what I can do to make it pop right off. Maybe I can stick this in here and grab it. No. I am scratching up the plastics. That's why I never work on other people's vehicles, okay? So if you see me do this and you want me to help you out mounting it, I am pretty happy with just a couple of scratches here and there to get the job done myself. I am not working on other people's vehicles because I do not want the liability. There we go. Move these to the side because it has the antenna. Oh, it's just Velcro, so we'll take it off. And this should just pop right up. There we go. Job's a good one. How am I gonna put this back together? I have no clue. And undo the connector. So I can't take it out because of this, but I don't think I need to. All I need is to push my cable through. There we go. Cable's gone up here, and now it should come up through here, through here. I've stuck so many things through this handlebar, it's getting difficult. Oh. Well, I could just rotate it and make my life easier. That would be a thing. There we go, there we go, there we go! Done! Whew! Okay. Alright, and now if we turn the unit on, we should see power, and we should see both cameras working. Okay, the unit is powering on with the ignition. That's good. Let's see. Do we have everything? 5:18 p.m. Yes, that is correct. 11.8 volts, 12.3 indicated on the dash. We do have our cameras. We do have our rear view mirror. Focus. And if we go here, we have, yes, both our front camera and our rear camera. And recording seems to be working. Stopping record, yes, it was working. So, it's mounted. Yoo-hoo, we're done. Yay, we are definitely done. Yeah, definitely done. All right, so We're almost done. I just have to put this thing back together. And I'm gonna put you guys right here. So, rear camera is mounted, front camera is mounted. I've used the exact Zontes stock mounting positions. They've worked with a little bit of adjustment, but they've worked very well. And now all I have to do is put this mess back together. It's probably going to take me a lot of time, but through the magic of YouTube, we're done. It's finished. It's all put back together about sometime later, but it's all functioning. And I really like how it turned out. I really like how I could use the stock mounting points for the cameras. And you know what? Let me show you guys. Let's take you on a bit of a journey. So we've got, let's take the phone off the tripod. We've got the front camera mounted here, right under the nose. All the wires are nicely tucked in here, and you can see absolutely nothing. Even the controller, the wire just goes very slightly inside the handlebars, and just, okay, here we have a rat's nest, but you can't see that, okay? And the rear camera, very nicely tucked into its factory position. Okay, it's a little bit shoddy with the cutting. I could have maybe made it a little bit more, a little finer cuts, but you get the idea. So it's finally done. Everything went back together nicely. I really like how Zontes put the plastics together. I kind of dislike these. Where are they? Let me show you one. I kind of dislike these plastic pins. You have to push them in, and they really hurt your fingers, okay? But it went back together nicely. Everything is in line and nothing is out of order. So now let's put you guys back on the tripod, and let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at this unit. Let's get a good position. There we go. Zoom in just a little. All right, so let's take a look at the unit. Let's fire it up. Peel off the plastic. Ooh, that feels nice. And let me just turn on the Bluetooth on the phone. So it picked up my Android Auto just like any Carpuride, and you've seen how Android Auto works or how Apple CarPlay works. But if we press this button, this home button, we go to the home of the unit. We have Apple CarPlay here and Android Auto. We have Wi-Fi video to connect my phone to the unit and download the videos. We can see our cameras here, front camera and rear camera. Click back home. If we press this button, it brings up the rear camera, which acts as a rear view mirror. I like this one. I think it's going to be useful in traffic. We're going to see. And click it back once and you're back to the main screen. If you're in Android Auto, it will switch back to Android Auto. We have our audio, our playback, and our settings. In general, we have automatic brightness, we have assistive touch, clear connections, and touch modes. These are general settings. In camera, word of warning, this is the camera format. It's in 1080N. That's the format of the cameras, okay? It's not of the recording, it's of the cameras. If you hit 1080p, this is what will happen. Aren't they just gorgeous? Let's put them back to the proper setting. Camera format 1080N. Now it's back. Recording resolution. We can either record in 720p or 1080p. I'm going to leave it in 1080p. We have our split times, 1, 3, and 5 minutes. We have our microphone, either on or off. I kept it on. And rear mirror image. That's so the image from the rear camera doesn't look mirrored. And system settings, we have our regular language, date and time, storage info, format, factory reset, and firmware version. But let's take this thing out on the road and see what it's like to ride with it and see how the footage from the camera is. All right, finally, the Scoot is outside. It's in one piece, and yeah, let's turn it on. You know, I cannot stress enough how much I enjoy these Android Auto devices. It's a game changer for navigation and for not having your phone up here on the handlebars. The ease of use with which they work, as in turn them on, it connects, finds your phone automatically while you put your gloves on, while you get on the scooter, and just like that, it's done. I don't know where it's navigating. Let's set navigation for home, start, and that's it. I can control my music. As you can see, it works with my gloves. It also has this button here that takes you to home, Bluetooth, camera, and your screen brightness, but we don't need that. Let's click home. So we are now in the home screen. I can go to my Android Auto and it goes to Android Auto. I can go to my home screen if I can take a photo. Let's start this thing up. Also, I can see my rear view mirror. This is quite nice, actually. And a button to go to. Let's go Android Auto. There we go, our navigation. Let's head home. And when I want to check my rear view mirror, I have a click here, and there it is, my rear view mirror. Have you ever seen a scooter with a rear view mirror? Well, my Zontes 350E, my friend, now has a rear view mirror. Now I am gonna try to pull the video recording from this and actually see how it looks front and rear. I will try to sync it with my GoPro, so we have actually 3 views. Let's click back to my Android Auto. But honestly, the way it looks on the screen, it should be pretty quality recording. I mean, I'm looking just at the back camera, and good frame rate. It should be 30 frames per second, and it seems nice. It seems good. Now, I haven't seen a recording on the on a big screen on a computer with this device. I am gonna do it when I get home and actually edit this video, because this video is coming out tomorrow. Yes, I put this thing basically yesterday from the day you were watching. I stayed after work and put this thing on. But from where I'm standing, oh sorry, hiding behind the car, couldn't see them. From where I'm standing, the image looks absolutely awesome, and it should be very good at recording everything and recording your mishaps in traffic. Let's click home. We have both cameras here running. We have our front camera, we have our rear camera. They look good. We have our time, we have our data that is set correctly, because the device is connected to my Android phone and it picks up the date from that thing. We don't have GPS speed, on the other hand. That might be a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, we don't have GPS speed. If you want GPS speed, I'm sorry, this thing doesn't have it. Back to Android Auto. There we go. So easy to use. So absolutely bloody easy to use. And yeah, this thing, considering how I mounted the cameras, this thing is not coming off my Zontes. It's not coming off Fred. And if you have a Zontes 350E or an M or maybe a D350, and you're looking at the factory cameras upgrade that costs about 300 euros, 350, something like that, this thing is cheaper and you get a proper navigation device. Why would you go for the factory options? Honestly, I don't know. Sure, it's a little bit of a hassle to mount them. If you're not mechanically inclined, that you might get charged with a little bit of a premium in terms of labor, because it takes a lot of time. It took me about 7 o'clock. I started at about 2. It took me about 4 to 5 hours to completely install this thing and get it up and running and get myself home. So about 4 hours. 4 hours of work. That's reasonable. So you're looking at about 4 hours of labor to mount this thing. But if you want to mount the factory cameras, if you haven't bought your scooter with the cameras already mounted, and if you want to mount them afterwards, then yeah, it's gonna be in terms of labor the same thing. So you kind of, it's a no-win situation where the labor for either the factory cameras or this thing costs about the same, but with this thing you get a navigation system for with Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, you get a rear view mirror, and you get cameras and connectivity with your phone and everything. So it does just about everything the factory cameras do, plus a lot extra for a lot less money. And yeah, if you want to buy this for your Zontes or any other bike, if you want to buy it for any other bike, then check the link down in the description below where you can get yourself one of these. It's an affiliate link, the channel gets a small kickback. Use code RIDEWITHALEX at checkout for a 30% discount, and yeah, get yourself one of these because I really like it, and it's staying on here for good. I've worked with Carpuride now for about a year. All of the products that they have sent me, I've tested them like I test everything. I mean, it's sitting here and it's not coming off no matter what I do. If I wash the scooter, I leave it outside in the rain and the snow, it's gonna stay here, and I've had no issues with them whatsoever. They have very good tech support. If you have problems, just shoot them an email, and yeah, I've worked wonderfully with them, and a lot of people have bought units from Carpuride from my links, and I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from people, either from working with the company and fixing some issues that have appeared, they were very responsive, or by the fact that the units were very good. The screen is absolutely beautiful and very bright, and they really enjoyed their devices. They were really happy with their purchases. I know I'm happy with the units the Carpuride has sent me, and if you want one, like I said, the link is down in the description below with a code for a 30% discount. Well, hope you guys enjoyed this video about the Carpuride W603. Hope you've got an idea of what it's all about and how it works, and if it's a good fit for your motorcycle or scooter or not. Until next time, guys, take care out there, everyone, and ride safe. Bye!